Yes. What's good, family? Let me get some ones in the chat if you guys could hear me loud and clear. Let me get some ones in the chat. I just want to make sure we're good. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me see who we got real quick. Actually, let me wait for these one confirmations. Let me get these ones in the chat if you guys could hear me loud and clear. Let's see, there might be a little bit more of a delay on today's stream. Ooh, okay, yeah, we're running a little bit of a delay. You guys are about 15 seconds behind us, so Kyle Ray, just keep that in mind. You guys know I got the boys with me. Let's see who we got in the chat, though. Let me scroll back real quick. I appreciate y'all. Let's see, we got Dallas going on. What's going on? People from the Bahamas. Tammy, what's going on? Jose, Devin, Eric. We got Sri Lanka in the house. Good evening from Canada. G Money, man, what's going on? All right. Looks like we got a pretty full house, family. Listen, we're going to get this started in probably just about another minute or two. We'll let people get kind of settled in, and we'll jump into this market weekly outlook. Like I said, this is your boy Skag that's currently live, and I do have Kyle and Ray with me tonight. We'll hit the fundamentals in a second, and then we will jump into some technicals and charts. But let's just give it another minute for people to get in, and we'll continue to catch this vibe here. All right, we'll kill the vibe for now. Cause listen, y'all know I could sit here and vibe out to that, get lost in the music all night long. But let's go. Before we get jumping into the fundamentals, I do just want to give Kyle and Ray a second to chime in, make sure their mics are working, make sure you guys are good. So, Ray, if you could hear me, bro, unmute, man. Say what's up to the family. Let them know that you're here.
Yo, what's going down, family? It's your boy Wall Street. Happy to be here. Hope y'all can hear me. We streaming on a little new platform today, so hopefully everybody can hear me loud and clear. I'm ready to get to the bag today. Y'all already know how I get down on Sundays, so let's get it. Let's have another phenomenal week.
Yes, sir. Kyle, my man, what is going on? You hear us loud and clear, my guy?
Yo, it's good. I definitely can hear y'all. I'm excited for this stream. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're good, bro. We're tapped in with you.
Bet. Let's run it. Yo, honestly, drop a 777 in the chat if you guys are ready for this week, man. Let's go crazy. We're about to definitely get started here within the next minute or so.
All right,
Also, guys, go ahead and drop
beautiful.
what city. What city are you guys calling in from? Right? I see 80 of y'all in the chat. So all 80 of you guys, go ahead and drop what city you guys are calling in from.
All right. Beautiful. So let's get the fundamentals for the week put up, family. Actually, I seen Eric in the chat. Eric wrote in the chat here, says he figured out what chart was in my reel from before. So go ahead, Eric, drop that, bro. But we'll get into that setup. We'll see if that setup is still viable. Honestly, I haven't really checked much other than Ethereum, which I'm pretty sure is flirting with some interesting price levels here right now. Yeah, if you know what was in my reel from earlier, man, drop it in the chat. Again, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out. I trade the same for things with you guys every week, so it's not like you guys had to go digging through like 40 pairs to find it. But let's see what we got this week on the economic calendar, family. I am gonna filter this and just get rid of the 1-star stuff. There could be some worthwhile, what they consider medium tier events. So let's just kind of brush through this real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't think there's anything drastic this week off the top of my head. But let's see. Already some speeches from Lagarde, but on Monday, Monday, nothing in particular that I want to take a look at. There is some trade balance stuff from New Zealand, but this is really not going to affect my trading much. And to be honest, I don't think it'll really affect currencies all that great either way. Tuesday, okay, we have New Zealand interest rate decision after some FOMC speeches, which again could impact markets. But on Tuesday, I'll be looking at this interest rate decision. New Zealand in the RBNZ is looking to go from 3.5 to an expected 4.25, so another 75 basis point hike. This would put them at the top of the leaderboard. I like to look at this as like the leaderboard right now, right? All the central banks are kind of in this period where we're kind of hiking rates. So it's like whoever's got the highest is at the top of the leaderboard. Honestly, they should just put this in numerical order. To be to be honest with you, I would love that. But either way, this does put them at the top of that theoretical leaderboard, ahead of the Fed at the standard 4%. Whoops, didn't mean to click on that. So again, this is an interesting thing. Now the real question is like whether or not they really do that 75 basis point hike, right? We have seen some of these banks, like the Bank of Canada, kind of slow down and go to 50. I believe that's what the RBA did as well on their previous release. They actually missed the forecast. So there is a slight possibility that maybe they don't even go to 4.25 and they actually end up somewhere more around the 4% mark. But they've been pretty consistent even with the RBA doing that. So I believe this is a pretty solid number for it to come out with. To be quite honest with you, again, New Zealand dollar is not something that I particularly trade, but you can expect some volatility with this on Tuesday. I would say you're probably going to end up getting NZD strength because, again, they are increasing rates. The real question is whether or not that move is to remain sustainable, right? So I would expect initial reactions to be bullish for the New Zealand dollar, but I wouldn't be fully committed to the idea of maybe those holding throughout the week, right? So kind of just keep that in mind. On Wednesday, we do have Japan, which is on a workers' day. PMI out of Euro. That might be the highlight. PMI out of the pound as well. Some building permits, housing number, and core durable goods out of the USD at 8:30. And then nothing else that day. Oh, actually, sorry, what was that? Oh, no, we have minutes this week, FOMC meeting minutes. So this is just a report release. Basically, they're just going to release transcript and details from the last FOMC meeting, which I believe is at this point 2 weeks ago, or a little bit longer than that. So again, we'll get further details about that meeting released. Again, the sentiment will remain the same, but this does usually add volatility to the market if there's details and certain phrases used in the minutes that can send markets, a little bit of a whirl. So this is actually going to be like the main thing I'll be looking at this week is trading volatility around this FOMC meeting minutes, whether that's into or out of liquidity on Wednesday. Let's see if that's followed up by anything. Yeah, by then we move into the holiday. It is Thanksgiving week. So again, this is kind of reinforcing that this is probably going to be the big volatility move, right before the holiday, or the banks kind of finalizing their moves into this kind of holiday weekend. Because after Thursday, unless you're playing foreign currencies, there should really be no additional news. Yeah, see, look, Thanksgiving Day, early close at 1300, which is at 1 p.m., in case you can't translate that. So yeah, it looks like we're going to want to just play this FOMC meeting minutes and then possibly New Zealand news if that is your drift. Let's just take a look at chat real quick, see if anybody has any thoughts on the news this week. But for me, am I bugging or I can't hear anything? No, we should be good on the volume. We should be good. I feel like we'd have more people saying something if there was an issue. Alex, what's going on, bro? I see you in the chat. Good to see you, my guy. But yeah, that's all we really have for news. Pretty light week, I will say. I'm definitely done by Wednesday because as we move into Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be. I know what markets look like on Thanksgiving Day and the day after, and typically they're pretty slow. Same thing around Christmas. You might get some volatility that comes in Friday after the actual holiday because of this early close. People might be like rushing into final positions a little bit earlier, like the beginning of New York, but later into the day, I guess it's going to be usually a wash. I mean, if we get a volatile Thanksgiving, that'd be a surprise to me. But I'll be out of the markets by then. Do I prefer this site over a Forex Factory? I have never used anything other than investing.com. I don't honestly know why people like Forex Factory. I think it's like MT4. Like it looks terrible. It's not clean. It's like a weird design. I go with clean, simple, effective things, and investing.com's always delivered that to me. So I've never really had a reason to go to Forex Factory. But you're getting the same information on both, really. It really doesn't matter. Honestly, you don't even need to come here, guys. Honestly, like there's a news calendar right inside of TradingView. I mean, if we're being real, like hold on, let me just switch stream real quick. Or if we're being real, we don't even really need to go out of TradingView. The earnings calendar is right here. The economic calendar is right here. Again, you can come in here and you can filter this by the same stuff. So, technically speaking, we don't even really need any of those websites. We're kind of just giving them traffic for no reason. So, yeah, that's it's all preference is really what it comes down to. What about next week news that can set up this week? My question to you would be, what do we have next week that you're aware of that I'm not? Now I have to check. See, now you got me checking. Hold on. Now I have to take you guys with me because I'm not using that. So hold on. Now you got me thinking. What do we got next week? GDP and NFP. Yeah, no. No. These are not news events that I particularly care for. I'm only looking for December 14th. I'm looking at the next Fed meeting. But Kyle Ray, any thoughts on the news week, the holiday? Are you guys gonna let the holiday impact your trading? Do you guys have big travel plans? Maybe are you guys gonna not be around? What's your week looking like in terms of news and holiday?
Well, I mean, I'm a trade essentially the way I always trade. I'm expecting a little less volatility, but I'm not gonna let it stop me from taking any opportunities. You know me, I'm on a lower time frame, so I could probably still catch me a nice 1 to 5 or something, regardless. So, not really affecting anything for me personally. Um,
Ray said he won't catch a 1 to 5 over Thanksgiving turkey.
Hey, that's the plan, man, and show the whole family. So, yeah, man. So nothing changing on my end. I do see a couple opportunities out there that I'll be taking. Hopefully tonight. If I can get the retracement I'm looking for. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple this week, man. Take a shot at GU, potentially GA, and I'll probably call it a week there.
Bet sounds good. Kyle, bro, you cutting your week short? You trading all throughout the week? What's your week look like?
Yo. So honestly, to be honest, I was expecting to like not really trade much this week, because I've been buying EU pretty much similar to you. I kind of have a lot of similar entries that I'm holding, like you. But actually on Friday, I was actually able to catch kind of like a counter trend sell. Still in that EU. And honestly, I am kind of expecting a retracement on the dollar. So, maybe throughout this Thanksgiving time, we can continue to be in that retracement phase, and we can continue to move up. Obviously, it'll be a little bit more slower, but if you have an entry maybe from last week, or you have an entry that you can somewhat find from early this week, I would say obviously going a little bit more towards the Thanksgiving day, obviously reduce risk. But if you are in like an entry like I am from Friday or Thursday or early from the week, hold those, because I highly think that the volatility will pick up, in the days leading after Thanksgiving. So yeah, I am a little bit, it's kind of like mixed feelings with me. I'm not going to be executing as much, but any entry that I am holding from a previous day, I'm just going to continue to hold.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. So that being said, let's take a look at some charts, and maybe identify some stuff. So I'll do a quick little update from last week, because again, you guys know I really didn't do too much last week. I think I pushed the button like twice. Um, I've taken some stabs at Ethereum, and I took a stab at we were gonna take a stab at Nasdaq, but I kind of kept my finger off the button. But some of us did execute off that, so I wanted to update kind of on that analysis. So let's kind of jump into this real quick. So I guess I'm on the gold chart, so we could start here. Um, last Sunday we kind of talked about gold and its possibility, and just on the dollar overall. I'm pretty sure a lot of us were on the same kind of page where we were expecting the dollar to. Let me see if I can move this out of my way. The dollar to kind of retrace, in the sense of it gaining strength last week and kind of fading off. Right, we've been kind of bearish dollar for a little bit. Kyle and I have been, long EU. I've been long gold. I've been long Nasdaq. And last week we were kind of just looking at these lower retracements, and we kind of talked about how it could possibly come down under this level here. Let me just get rid of all this other stuff. All right, below this candle, I'm going to just zoom in for those of you that are maybe on mobile. And we are now kind of testing below here. So, and just for those of you, again, confused, we were looking at the test below here, which is basically what we're getting right now. So I am interested in what begins to happen. Now it is Sunday, so I'm kind of taking current price action with a grain of salt. I know Ray's gonna disagree. I mean, and mostly I disagree as well. It's like you could find good opportunities down here. However, because this area is so inefficient that I'm not really betting on, just the minor fill of this holding. But I will be looking at this early week to see kind of how we react initially in the zone. If we can get back above this 1747, 1748 level, I probably will be looking again for potential easy continuations on the trades I'm already in. Remember, I'm already long gold, right? I'm kind of managing the position from down here. So as we kind of come in and fill some of these imbalances, I'm kind of just looking at like potential trades. Now, do I think that this is going to just do something like this? No. I'm really kind of like expecting this to kind of play around more and us potentially kind of come and take this liquidity, but again, just establish a broader range. Again, kind of into the holidays, past this week, even into like the GDP and NFP. I think a lot of that stuff is just going to ultimately, play inside of a range. And much like the Nasdaq trade we took last week, if you were on those calls and if you're aware of that trade, we're kind of just looking for stuff to stay range bound. So again, now that we kind of come under this area, I am leaning kind of like, bearish dollar bias. But again, I don't really have any confirmations from this area of liquidity that we've kind of entered to give me that. Even if I go to lower time frames, like there's really just nothing down here. Again, it's early Sunday. If we start to see some breaks of structure and some ranges form, again, we'll look into that into Tuesday, Wednesday. But looking at this from like a week perspective, I do see the potential for us to kind of, again, establish a larger range here. which is going to be the trend in a lot of stuff, right? So like to kind of update you guys on EU, this is the same kind of idea. Now this is one we were looking to potentially execute off of, last week. We were kind of looking for it to come up above this area and give us these sells at like 104 or 42. We never really got those pushes up there, so this idea just never executed. This was a completely different idea that, again, I did not execute on. But this pair keeps building up liquidity as well, right? Liquidity below these lows, liquidity below these lows. And even right now, this is sitting in like a really interesting spot for me, right? Like it's sitting below this structure, but above this structure. So when I immediately look at this, again, I see the potential for us to play around and then, again, potentially kind of come up here and establish a range. Is somebody unmuted? Does somebody have a thought? Kyle, you got a thought to that? No, because you are unmuted. But yeah, same thing on EU. Again, looking for a move kind of like this throughout the holiday week. I'm not really expecting us to move anywhere. Do I expect price to eventually come down to this area? Yes, we talked about that last week. Do I expect this to eventually break? Yes. But I just see the potential for us grabbing, better prices to make those breaks on. Honestly, the most realistic thing, I guess I could just delete this manually instead of backtracking. Be like a nice early move like this week, where we can kind of come up, and then you could start that move to the downside. So again, this is just stuff I'm looking at early week. NASDAQ, you guys may have seen this on my story, or not my story, my reel that I put out this morning. I was looking at the NASDAQ. I think I did that on a different chart. Yeah, so here's the analysis from this morning. Again, basically looking for the same type of move on the NASDAQ, where we've kind of built up this liquidity here, and now we're going to come play in the pocket of money, right, below the liquidity, but holding the market structure. And again, that's a big zone, so we refine that zone by looking at stuff like the order block, the continuation block. If you don't know what those terms are, it's okay. Where we just look at this area between here and here as an area of demand. And again, of course, we need some sort of bullish reaction off this level. So I'm looking for the same move across the board, whether it's EU, whether it's NASDAQ, whether it's gold. Everything is more or less the same move, which is kind of boring, to be honest with you guys. It really is boring trading. But I'm going to take the one out of those three that looks the best. Obviously, I'm not going to take all three setups. I will, cherry pick and see which one looks the best, has the best risk to reward, is setting up at the proper time. Some of these might move a little bit more aggressive than others. Some of them might just have a tighter stop loss, which again yields a better reward. So one of the three will be the thing that I trade, and you guys will get to see that on the live trading calls this week. So let me just pop into chat real quick. FOMO on EU. So waiting for a reaction, then getting an entry off the reaction. Yeah, because, the initial reaction, 9 out of 10 times is going to give you a nice little move, but it's also usually going to come back and take it, especially in some sort of like scenario like these, where these are like more or less already at the top of their cycles. You're not getting like a really, really strong sweep of liquidity on any of these because there's a lot of inefficiency that lies below. So typically, again, any reaction that's warranted it's going to come back to that reaction. So even if you get, like, using this as an example, right, like a valid reaction, assuming this is all we have, right? So assuming we were building some sort of idea off of this, and just assuming that it wasn't Sunday and it was like peak session time, right? Like, let's just build a theoretical scenario where, like, you know, you have liquidity build up here. We don't have to build that as a thing. There is liquidity build up here. And let's just say, you know, whatever this does, it stumbles over, it takes that liquidity, and you get a really nice strong push where you don't only break this structure, but like maybe you even break this structure because of like the time of week that we're currently looking at, and like, and all of this, and again, the fact that you're still so aggressive to the downside, that initial reaction that you get on like the 5 minute, more times than not, will also be very aggressive back and give you that same kind of risk to reward than if you were just playing it initially. You know, in the way that like Ray and I look at the markets, it's there's usually like some sort of indication down here for that for us. So again, like this is, you know, going to look like 1,000 different ways, but sometimes you get even like what Ray calls like internal range liquidity, what I call like a liquidity pocket. And then more times than not, you come back and take that. And then after you get that reaction off of the same area you had a previous reaction, you get really, really, really nice moves. And basically what we're talking about is like, again, the fact that you're taking liquidity below here, but still holding the main trend. And these liquidity pockets are by far the best risk to reward that you're going to get. Do they always work? No. But when you lose for little. And when they smack, you smack for a lot. But again, you need things like the change of character, right? You need the volume supporting it. There's certain little things that, you know, each and every one of us want to see out of like kind of a move like that. But yeah, you're waiting for that initial reaction, and sometimes you do. You know, sometimes I do play in this where like if I see this, like I might take an entry like right here, but I just know that after it sweeps the liquidity here, and again, more times than not, it's going to come back. So, um, you know, and that's what messes most traders up, because most traders are smart enough to grab this entry, but then they ruin it themselves because they got to break a structure like this, and then they go break even, and then the market comes back and it taps them out at break even, and then the market goes, and then they say, "Oh, why does the market hate me?" And so, well, the market doesn't hate you. You just, you know, you weren't aware that the market was gonna come back. And that's why I have a very systematic approach to my break even, which where I wouldn't go break even until this point because it's already come back. And there's a 45-second lesson in the best entry technique you could probably follow and how to manage it. Are you looking at that 5 minute as a potential? I mean, I'm not looking at this 5 minute as anything, because this 5 minute is, I mean, it's nothing. It's early. Like there's nothing really accumulating or doing anything here. Like this maybe is like a PSY. This is like, it's so early in the range that there's nothing, you're not really having anything to analyze. So again, that's why we need more data. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Kyle, Ray, what do you guys got? Anybody want to hop in? I'll also give it another 20 seconds just to see if people have follow-up questions to what I just dropped. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at this week.
Honestly, bro, shit, you know, I'm kind of in that scenario as well, where I'm looking at cryptos, kind of just looking for that little bounce. You know, obviously, you know, it might not be the complete bottom yet, but you know, definitely a great time to invest in the crypto for sure.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
actually in some Ethereum buys. I have a few. I mean,
mm,
I scaled in, so I have like there, but I also have like here. We're gonna see if they
mm.
work. I mean, I'm kind of losing faith, but
Me
again,
too.
this hits some of my parameters in the sense that, again, if you look at what I'm looking at here, this it's the same setup across multiple assets, but
Kind of looks like EU 2 weeks ago.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the risk is that it takes out all the liquidity, which, as you know, is a valid enough trade as well. I mean, if I was short from up here, that's what I would be looking at. I'd be looking at this getting taken out. So the fact that this is like a, if I was in a short, this would be like a sell side target for me. So I know the risk of me buying here, and this is, I actually posted this in the community. I did alert you guys. Again, we're gonna see how this goes. I did put like 2% on this trade between all my entries, so um, yeah, I'm kind of, if you guys know me, that's a little heavy for me. Usually, I'm sub 1% risk, so the fact that I put 2%, means it's probably going to be one of my 2 trades this week. If it doesn't go good.
Nice, bro. I am gonna talk about that a little bit as well. For you guys that don't know, Ethereum, XLM, XRP, a lot of these coins, you know, may have a big bounce, real soon with this, news release that's coming out. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, Skags.
I need to know what you're referencing. I was actually in student mode for a second. I was about to say, what are you talking about? Oh, you want the screen
I
share?
think
My
I
bad,
think
bro.
I saw you post on your story like the release of the digital dollar. What was the name of it's like X? It has like XDC, XLM, Ripple.
Oh, ISO. Well, the digital
Yeah,
dollar.
the ISO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put a one in the chat if you know about the digital dollar and the test phase. Put a one in the chat when you guys catch up. They're a little behind. It's okay. We love you guys. But put a one in the chat if you guys heard about the digital dollar test phase, which is what Kyle's referencing right now. Big thing. Big news actually, which we have not had a chance to talk about. But I don't know if we want to go into that quite yet. But let's see how many people actually heard about it. Yeah, see, they like 30 seconds behind. It's okay, guys. Now we know. Now that I know there's a delay, I'll do my best to fix it. So some people said not yet. Danny said not yet. It is a 12-week phase. So what is happening, if you're not aware, is that some big banks, I think it was I want to say 8. Something wants to. I want to say 12, but 12 banks for 12 weeks sounds kind of like I'm misremembering that. So I think it's 8 banks for 12 weeks are testing out a digital dollar. And basically, what this means is that they will be transacting their transactions not only in like the current system, right? The current like Swift system and the way everything is structured now, but they'll also be, and the banks included are like JP Morgan, HSBC, Bank of America, right? Things like that, right? These 8 banks will also be transacting on a test net, right? So it's not a public net. It's like Ethereum's test net. It's where they kind of can operate and test out this digital dollar using actual transactions. So it'd be kind of like, you know, cooking the books in two areas, cooking the normal books, the live books, where they kind of normally operate, and they'll be also testing out the systems on the backside of things, which is interesting because, again, assuming those tests go good, they're going to be looking to roll this out. We all know that ISO 20022, and if you don't know, you're about to get educated, which is the next step in the financial messaging systems, which basically allows central banks and institutions to use blockchain technology. Any coin that's ISO 20022 compliance could be used in these test nets. Now, we don't have any details about the test net. I haven't seen any details about the test net. I don't know if they're using XRP. I don't know if they're using Algo. I don't know if they're using HBAR. The articles did state that they will be using. They imply that they're going to be using multiple, right? Or that one bank will be using one, another one will be using another. So it made it sound like they were going to use a handful of these ISO tokens. So yeah, big news. Again, every day we move closer and closer to that digital dollar being released, which has not been conspiracy theory. It's been a real thing since like 2018. The Fed's been very open about this. They've been very public about it. They haven't been trying to hide it. We all knew it was coming, but we are here. Mar says 111, aka the future with social credit system implementation. Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys could be against social credit systems all you want, but they will leak their way into Western infrastructure. It's already leaking its way into Europe. It will leak its way over here as well. BNY Mellon City, HSBC, MasterCard, PNC Bank, TD Bank, Truist. Hey, we use Truist. US Bank and Wells Fargo. Yeah, I use Truist. That's great. So actually, two or three of my banks. I also have HSBC, US, some of these that I've used that I no longer use. I mean, obviously, Mastercard. I think is. I don't even know if I have anything that runs on Mastercard. But yeah, shout out to all my transactions that are about to be testnetted for the digital dollar. So very big again. So could this bring bounces in the crypto market? Maybe, maybe not. There's some speculation on that. Um, the conspiracy theorists will tell you that they're going to crash Bitcoin. Look at this entry getting hit several days later. That they would be looking to crash Bitcoin in order to release the digital dollar. So maybe it's bearish. I think it's ultimately good. We just need more info on what ISO tokens are actually being used. People will do business with you based on your reviews and score. I mean, that's how business should be done already, bro. I mean, shit. Like everybody has a rating. Like your Uber driver has a rating. Your Uber Eats restaurants have ratings. Like everything has a rating already. So I think it's pretty natural. Now the problem lies in where it's like, not will people do business with you, it's can people do business with you, right? That's where like the fear mongering comes in. It's like, okay, well, if they have a digital dollar and a digital system and they can control everything, then it's like, oh, if I speak out about something, can they just, not even can they, will they? Because could they? Yes, they absolutely 1,000% could. I mean, they could do that now. So yeah, it's not really a question of whether will people do business with you. It will be like, will you be allowed to do business? Sounds like a bad episode of Black Mirror. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Pretty much how some people see it. I feel like your screen is lagging a little bit, but it might just be me. I don't know. It could just be you. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really have on ISO tokens. Again, I'm pretty bullish crypto as well. Again, I am in these buys, so we'll see how that stuff goes. Again, it's the same trade.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you for going over that, bro. If you guys got some value from that, and you guys feel like you learned a little bit from that kind of rant, I actually wanted Skags to talk about that. So drop a 333 in the chat. If you got some value,
Yeah, I
we
could
will
talk about
continue.
ISO. I could talk about conspiracy theory economics all you want and like where the world's going. But we'll save that for different calls. I want to hear what some of these boys have on the charts. And I'll
Yeah,
deliver you
no
guys
doubt.
some of that outlook on a different call. But yeah, Kyle, let me know what you have on the charts, or Ray, whoever wants to take over screen sharing, just go ahead and take it over, and I will. Kyle,
I
one
had
second.
sent a request, bro. I don't know if you got it.
I did get it, so share your screen. You might have to pick your window.
Okay.
There you
You
go.
guys good?
Yeah, you good.
Bet. All right, cool. So, I'm not gonna be before y'all too long. Basically, what I am gonna go over is the dollar, EU, GU, UCAD, pretty much the same things that I trade on a daily. So I'm just gonna start off with a clean chart here, and as you guys can see, we are kind of in a bearish retracement stage for the dollar, and we've been talking about this now for the past 2-3 weeks now, guys. If you've been on our streams for the past month, and you have been hearing us talk about this potential dollar pivot, and you've caught some potential trade ideas from that, go ahead and drop a dollar sign in the chat, because this has been some major pips that we've been able to collect. This has been some major bags that we've been able to collect. Just starting from this level right here is where we've been looking at our entries, and as you guys can see, we are definitely in profit, but we're not gonna just continue talking about what
Hold on,
has
hold on,
happened.
hold on.
We're gonna go ahead
One
and look at,
second. Kyle, can you hear me?
yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
For some reason, they can't see your screen.
Oh,
I can see your screen. They just can't. Which is interesting to me. Yeah, you guys can't see his screen? Hold on, let me do this.
Sorry about that, family. You know, I know you guys could
Yeah,
probably hear
I
me,
was
but
watching your screen. I could have swore they could see it. Huh. All right, family. Let me know. Hold on. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Yeah, they can see my screen.
it's just all black for me because I don't know. Oh, I see it now. Never mind. It's a delay.
I know. I know. Okay, Kyle. You try to share.
But gonna try this again, y'all. All right, now if you guys can see my screen,
No,
drop it.
I can see it on my side. Interesting. Kyle, is your video on? Yes or no?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I know it's not.
Well, I can turn it on if you need me to.
Okay, take over the screen share.
But
Nah, it refuses to show you, bro.
hmm.
The stream does not
Well,
like Kyle.
we do apologize for the technical difficulties. Honestly, what I will do is if you could just pull up the DXY on your screen, I'll just kind of go through you today, and then we'll try again when it's Ray's turn, see if this screen works. But for now, I do want to at least just give you guys my perspective on the market,
Yeah,
kind
I
of
could do
through
that.
Skag's chart. But you know, honestly, we are testing out. It's just kind of like some higher limits for the stream on a different link. So today's stream is a little wacky, but let me know when you have your chart up, bro. I'm gonna
Oh, it's up. Yeah, they
try
could see
to.
it. It just doesn't like you. Oh, maybe they can't see it
Oh,
now. Hold on.
okay, cool. So
Yeah, the
again,
stream.
guys.
Hold on. The stream hates you, bro. Yeah, it's just you anytime I put you in it. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, go ahead, bro. It's DXY's on screen.
Okay, cool. To be honest, guys, again, from that, if you could scroll up a little bit, from that kind of sort of level of 113, we've been short. And, if you guys kind of zoom in, right, and go onto a 1 hour time frame, right, I want you guys to tell me what that kind of looks like to you guys, right? There's a couple right answers. It's kind of hard to get it wrong. But on the 1 hour of the DXY right now, what are we looking at? Right? What kind of pattern? What kind of, you know, like what would you guys consider that on the 1 hour? And I'll let you guys know what I consider that. More so at the like 107 current price is what I meant, guys.
Oh, you told me up at 1. You told me up at 1.
Yeah, yeah,
There
sorry.
you go.
Yeah, you guys tell me what this looks like right now. Okay, break of structure. Technically, yes, that's correct. We have broken 1 hour structure at this moment in time. Another answer would be inverted head and shoulders, right? This can be considered an inverted head and shoulders, right? Where on the 1 hour, we received kind of like that little spring action, right, where we came back and made somewhat of a higher low, and now we're in that higher high phase, right? So, obviously, this is a point in the market where I like to see some temporary buying from the dollar, right? Another confirmation is to see why I'm looking at that. If you were to go on the weekly time frame, right? There's some people saying form of Wyckoff, some people saying accumulation, breakup structures. A lot of those answers are correct. So, if you go on the weekly time frame of the dollar, and you look at, say, the 106.57 level, right? On the 106.57 level, we have this kind of like weekly candle. Now, whether this holds is kind of up to the market, right? Whether this breaks a new high and forms a new high is kind of up to the market. Now, since we are in that kind of December, end of November standpoint, preferring the sell side, but just because you are preferring a specific bias or a specific direction in the market doesn't mean that there isn't opportunities to hedge. Doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities to take the market in the other direction until we get our swing set up, right? That's something that I like to do a lot of the times, right? If I know that the dollar is going to be bearish, or if I know, a certain pair is going to be a certain direction, obviously we want to only enter on the most highest probable swing entries. But, sometimes we can get counter trend opportunities like we are seeing here today. And just for the earlier part of the week, I do expect us to continue trading up until we reach more of like a higher time frame zone. So like let's say you were to go down to like the 4 hour on the dollar. One level that I am keeping a look at, I actually have two levels I would like to keep. I want you guys to keep a very hard look at them. So the 112.5 and the 110.5 levels, right? The 112.5 and the 110.5 levels, those are great swing entries that I see. If you were somebody that you saw this drop on the dollar, you saw this buy on EU, and you kind of are seeing our bias. You kind of are seeing why we were taking those positions, and you're looking for reentries. Then yeah, those areas I would see to be best fit for those swing entries. But again, for now, for the earlier part of the week, I do expect the dollar to just continue up, and I wouldn't be playing any sells until we reach that 110.5 or the 112.5 area, or some sort of structure shifts, or break of structure or something like that. But you know those are two levels, and Skaggs just marked them on the chart that I see the dollar continuing up, and once we get to those levels, I would definitely be taking the market in the other direction. Now, how does that translate to EU? Right, if we were to go on to EU again on the 1 hour, we are seeing a head and shoulders. So not the inverted head and shoulders. We're getting the opposite. We're seeing the head and shoulders action, right? So on Friday, I actually was snagging my entry from the 103.8 level. So, if you were looking at something like that, that's something that is valid. Still understand that it is counter trend, right? Just because we broke 1 hour structure doesn't mean the entire market is going to reverse and collapse, right? We must also look at the 4 hour structure. So, on the 1 hour, we are getting this head and shoulders, and this is definitely a good early entry into going into the week, and can be a nice counter trend trade. But I want you guys to keep an eye out on the 9955, right? The 9955 level, right? That's an area that I'm going to be keeping a very close lookout on, right? And, even if you were to go to the 4, I'm also going to keep an eye out on the 99, or on the 10040 level. the 10040 level is going to be a very, very important level for me, right? If we can bounce into some sort of this range, for like a news event, or like maybe we can, trade into this right before a news event, that would be amazing. I want you guys to also take a look at the 9.7 or just the 9.800 flat level, right? 9.800 flat level, right? That's also another area that I would be keeping a look at, right? So you want to be positioning yourself in the market kind of similar like this, right? Where, you know, if I'm seeing potential short time frame, lower time frame breaks of structures, right? I can take these sells comfortably, but still knowing that I'll still have an opportunity to buy. And even if these opportunities that I'm buying end up failing, I'm in a risk scenario that the sells would make up for it at this point, right? And you guys could do the same thing for the buys. Let's say you're not in these sells. Keep an eye out on my buy levels, and if those trades end up hitting take profit and end up buying, actually giving you the profit that you wanted, hold a small position until you guys see that selling start coming in, and it's gonna help you guys' psychology a lot more because you guys won't be in the mindset of wanting to trade every day because sometimes there won't be an opportunity every day, but the market could still give you that directional bias that you're looking for every day, right? Like just look at EU, right? There wasn't an entry every single day, but we were bullish on it. So the entries that we had bullish on it, there was no reason for us to close the entire position. Obviously, every day as it traded up, we were taking profits, but a lot of us are still in some of those buys. So that's kind of like the mindset that you guys want to have. USDCAD, I'm not gonna go over GU. I'm gonna leave that to Ray. Just so we're not on this call till like midnight tonight. USDCAD, I call this out in the Private Society community as well on the website, and in a lot of our group chats here. So if you guys paid attention on the weekly time frame, I had called out this level. Actually, on the daily time frame, I had called out the 132,600 level, the 132,600 level, right? It's kind of like that daily candle, that little stutter candle. When I saw that candle, and especially last week when I saw the 1 hour structure breaks on the DXY, I knew that we were in for some buying at these levels because I was actually bearish from. I'll tell you guys right now, I was bearish from 3,800, right? So from 3,800, I was in those sells, and that was pretty much around the same time. The same time I was taking the EU buys, I took the USD CAD sells at the 3,800. So it was only kind of made sense that if I was looking for a potential Euro fade, that I was looking for a potential USD CAD fade. And, that's what we got last week. If you guys go down to like something of the 1 hour, this resembles the DXY very great. And, honestly, my two levels on this for the sells, because it's kind of too late for the buys at this point, unless you see something very juicy tomorrow, which I kind of don't see it. I'm kind of not going to be taking counter trend positions anymore. That was kind of just like a Friday thing. I was kind of just like, let me see what opportunities we get. But at this point, it's kind of too late to buy USDCAD. It's kind of too late to sell EU unless tomorrow gives us something spectacular. But, for now, guys, my two levels are the 13750 level, so right here, and the 13730 level. So, if we can get some sort of selling from, this 3530 level, I'll definitely be taking it down a lot more lower. And also, this 3750 level. If we can come up and tap any one of these institutional candlesticks, I would be taking this USD CAD more lower, right? We could also go up to here, right? These are two scenarios that I would be looking at for USD CAD. But with that being said, guys, honestly, mark those zones, mark those levels, stay plugged in, stay tapped in. New York session is going live Tuesday through Thursday on this same channel. So, Be up early. Be up at 8 o'clock sharp and be on a session. Every single morning we trade live, right? So don't miss these entries with us. And with that being said, I'm honestly going to let Ray go over GU and whatever other pairs that he has because, I think we're all in alignment. But, I just want you guys to understand that we trade the same way, but we also get a lot of different entries. So that's why it's important to be on our trading calls. That's why it's important to be on every day. Because that one day that you're not on, that one New York session that you're not on, could have been that one session that you decide to skip out on that absolutely blesses your account with 5% profits, 10% profits. Like, crazy stuff, guys. I can't tell you guys the amount of times that, like, I've had accounts where I woke up and I didn't think I was going to see the type of trades that was going to bless my account. And it actually was, right? And the craziest part is the days that like really wasn't motivated to hop on the charts and like maybe I slept in or something like that. Those were the days that I actually missed out on bangers. So that's why it's important to stay consistent. Be on these sessions every day. Subscribe to this channel, like the stream, turn on the post notification, click that bell because there is heat every single day with the Profit Society. So yo, my brother Ray, can you hear me, bro? Are you ready to go in? And can
Yeah,
everybody
man.
drop
Yeah,
the
man.
222 in the chat for Mr. Wall Street Ray? He's about to get surgical, give you guys some low risk, high reward entries. And with that being said, Ray, if you're on here, bro, my brother, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. Say, man. It's your boy Ray, man, trying to get y'all a better way, man. So listen, I want y'all to drop some 777s in the chat for all the previous speakers. They went absolutely crazy, gave y'all a lot of value, tremendous value. And that's the thing, it's a blessing to be able to have so many different perspectives in the markets because that way, we really cover each other up. Iron sharpens iron. I might miss something. Kyle will catch it. Skaz will catch it. Abel will catch it. So, it's definitely dope to have that community aspect and be able to trade alongside with other phenomenal traders. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I could go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully I can.
Yeah, let's see if this works.
Yeah, let's see if this works. And sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. We are on a new streaming platform just for the day, at least, and we do want to make sure everybody is good to go. So let's see.
So are you streaming on your side?
Um,
Okay, so
I
I can
believe so. Can y'all see?
so I can see it. The thing is though, I don't think they can. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Well, let's just wait for the delay. Let me know if y'all can see on the stream.
No, I know they can't.
Okay, got you.
Because it's not even showing on our back end. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. Because when we tested this with Abel, bro, Abel was allowed. So, I'm going to try one more thing here. So, are you sharing your entire window, bro? Or are you just sharing that, like just
Yeah.
your Safari?
Yeah, I'm sharing my TradingView page right now.
Yeah, there's no technical reason on why. It just
Hey,
goes
all
back.
good. All good. It happens. I'll just take a
I mean,
page out of
is
Kyle's
that a
book.
screenshot, bro?
No, this is my screen. You see GU?
Yeah, I see GU. I mean, because if that's your setup, bro, I could just share that on my screen.
Okay, bet. Yeah, go ahead and share it on your screen, and I'll kind of just
No, just
walk
send it to
through.
me. Copy the link and send it to me.
Okay, perfect. Got you.
No, not that. Like, just to hit the camera. See, that's what I'm saying. I can see your screen. I don't know why they can't. Hold on, family. Let me hijack this. Just send me, hit the little camera icon and send me the chart link. Family, I do apologize for the technical. I really don't know why it's not sharing his screen with you guys. There's no logical reason why it wouldn't. Like, see, you guys can see my screen.
Hey, you gotta adapt sometimes, man. You gotta adapt
Yeah,
sometimes.
I
It
don't
ain't
know
the end of
why
the
it
world.
refuses.
Hey, can you check your Telegram, bro? Because I'm actually streaming on my phone also. Is that cool?
Yeah, so yeah, Telegram's perfect.
Okay, perfect.
The family, listen, I'm gonna put his chart up on here, and y'all be able to see his charts this way, because I know this boy Ray's got his stuff already done, which is
Right.
beautiful, and he can break it down for y'all. All right, so y'all let me know if you guys can now see Ray's trade setup here. And again, family, I'm more than apologize.
No, all good, all good. So, I appreciate you for bringing that up. And again, guys, you got to be able to adapt to adversity. So, again, slightly streaming technical difficulties, but I'm gonna still go ahead and get this point across to you guys, as clearly and precisely as I can. But with that said, I'm agreeing with the overall bullishness of the DXY this week. We pretty much all agree on that analysis of us respecting the demand zone on the DXY. So, understanding how the correlation of pairs work, if the DXY is going to receive some bullishness, and again, it can push into that area of supply and continue bearish, but that's a bridge we'll cross when we get there, right? But at least for the time being, I feel like we do have a few days of bullishness in the DXY. So assuming that the DXY will continue bullish, that is a reason for us to go bearish on Euro USD, go bearish on GBP USD. Now, as you can see on the screen right in front of you, we do have an area. And we could call this distribution. I'll be honest, I don't get too deep into all of the Wyckoff terminology, but one thing I can tell you is that we obviously see highs that are sweeping liquidity, and we see lows that are somewhat creating liquidity. So if you see highs that are taking liquidity and you see lows that are creating liquidity, we can kind of predetermine what direction the market is going in. Because if we're sweeping highs, that means the highs are going to be protected. All right. So understanding that, as you can see on the chart, I have the lower high point actually marked, and I have a lower low point marked as well. Now, if you look at that lower high point, we see that that high actually swept the previous high before making a new low. All right. Now, what that means is that highs, since it actually took liquidity, it should be protected. And since it should be a protected high, that's going to be one of the points of interest that I look to actually sell off from. Now, the reason we don't want to sell right now, obviously, because we've all heard buy low, sell high. Obviously, the market is dropping right now. So that wouldn't be a good place to sell because realistically, the market can go all the way back up to where I have that LH, which means lower high, and it could still, technically speaking, be in a downtrend. So, in order for us to have as less risk exposure as possible, we want to be able to sell as close to that point as possible. So, we want to wait until the market retraces a little bit higher and actually take out that line that says IRL, meaning internal range liquidity. And the reason why we want to take out internal range liquidity is because we want to build up the fuel and build up the steam in order for that next impulsive move, right? So understanding that liquidity is what drives the market. It's pretty much like gas for the market. So the market can't just go down forever. The reason why the market moves in zigzags in the first place is because it's taking liquidity and creating liquidity. So in order for us to actually continuously move down bearish, we would have to actually create a retracement and take out some internal liquidity in order to build up the momentum and build up the steam for this market to continue bearish. Now, on the DXY and also on Euro USD, and for the sake of time and for the sake of the stream difficulties, I'm not going to keep sending more and more links and more screenshots. But with that said, when Kyle sent his screenshot and even when Skag sent his screenshot, you guys saw a large area of imbalance resting below Euro USD, right? And the same thing is resting here on GBP USD as well. So essentially, I'm looking for the exact same thing, just a different pair. And that's the cool thing about these correlating pairs is that you might miss an entry on say Euro USD, but you can catch it on GBP USD because essentially a lot of the same things are going to happen, right? So with that, thanks for pulling that up for me. So with that, I am looking for all of this choppy price action to get taken out. All right, I would like to see that large area of imbalance get filled in, at least about 50% of it. It is very large, so when I look at these super big areas of imbalance, I don't like playing off of a specific candle, but I would like to at least look at the 50% of it for a potential take profit area. So understanding that, I personally believe that the DXY is still bearish on a higher time frame. And not bearish, excuse me, bullish on a higher time frame. But again, we will have to create that retracement. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen in that area of imbalance, because a couple things can happen there. We can actually continue dropping, and I have my reasons for that. If you guys understand my, my personal strategy, I need to see hezzies inside of the areas of imbalance. The fact that I don't really see any hezzy before I break structure or any consolidation, for the people that's like, what is a hezzy? I like to see consolidation, right? Or, at least a little pause in the market, or what Skaggs would call like a lone candle, right? And considering that I don't really see that before I break structure, I have reason to believe that imbalance could be fake in a sense, if that makes sense. It could be something that just kind of entice you, because if you're a smart money trader, you may notice there's times where you take trades out of imbalances and you lose, and a lot of people don't understand why did you actually lose that position, right? And there's some imbalances that are real, some of them are not, and that's one of the primary characteristics that I look for. If I break structure without getting any internal range liquidity first, that's where I'll look for the market to actually fail and not respect that area of imbalance. So there is a chance that this market just completely obliterates that zone. And if that happens, that means that the DXY is going to probably push up and make a higher high. So if the DXY does push up and make a higher high, well, we're going to anticipate significantly lower prices on GBP Now, this area of imbalance can, cause a slight reaction. I'm not saying it's just going to blow straight through it with, no resistance whatsoever. However, we can, get some type of hesitation in that area. We can, run into a little bit of resistance in that area. But overall, I do feel like essentially we're going to probably make new lows, breaking even lower than that area of imbalance, just due to the fact that it's not my textbook imbalance, right? All of my imbalances have very specific characteristics, and that doesn't necessarily have the characteristics that I like to see. So again, hoping that makes sense, guys. Again, for the, considering the circumstances of the stream, I definitely wanted to break that down as cleanly as I can. And, before I actually, pass it back, another thing I want you guys to notice is, we've already established that the highs are taking liquidity. I want you to just take a look at these lows that are forming. And Skaggs, you did draw some trendline liquidity before. If you could draw that for me again, appreciate it. Just that trendline liquidity there, for example, those lows are very weak in my personal opinion. And when you're analyzing lows and highs, you have to ask yourself, what's the chances of this low, being a protected lower? What's the chances of this low pushing the market up a drastic amount of pips, right? And that's one thing we got to really ask ourselves. And I tell people all the time, you want to analyze the body language of the charts, right? What are the charts telling you? If the charts could speak a language to you, what would it be saying? Would it be saying, I'm big and strong, I'm bold, I'm firm, or would it be saying I'm kind of weak? I'm kind of, iffy on this area. And that's one thing I kind of look at. And when I see lows that don't leave behind large areas of imbalance, they don't create large bullish engulfings or bearish engulfings in a bearish market, right? They don't create a lot of volume in general. Typically, I look at those areas to be, areas that are going to be taken out essentially, or weak lows that are going to be liquidated in order for the market to continue its direction. So just understanding that, when I look at those highs that he has drawn up there, or those lows, excuse me, those lows he has drawn up there, I don't see the market continuing to push bullish after making those lows. So if the market isn't going to go bullish, where does it have to go? It has to go bearish. The market could only go in one or two directions. Obviously, we have consolidation as well. But in terms of uptrends and downtrends, you could either only go bullish or bearish. Even when you're in consolidation, there's opportunities if you know how to trade, ranges and trade on the lower time frames. So me just looking at this price action, I highly doubt that we're going to make a higher high. So understanding that, I'm looking for reasons to sell. As I go to the lower time frame, I see a sweeping highs creating weak lows, and I also see this huge area of inefficient price below that needs to be filled. Like, there's no way that that's just going to sit there and not be tested, eventually. So I do believe the time is now. The DXY correlates beautifully. Euro USD, we kind of all looking at the same things, but we just kind of cover different pairs. So, I mean, Kyle's bullish on UCAD, bearish on Euro USD. Um, you know, Essentially, I'm bearish on GU. So that's pretty much all I see, guys. Again, I could go over a couple more pairs, but again, I'm not trying to, make the stream any more difficult than it already has been, unfortunately. So just with that, I'll leave it there. So I'm not currently on the YouTube stream, but I can't see the chat box. But if there's anybody that has questions, um, if one of you guys can read them off to me, I'd love to answer the questions for you. And then
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of, bounce off what you were talking about too with this inefficiency, bro. I'm with you about the whole 50% theory and like this, because this is like, and everybody has their theories about imbalances and the way they work. But again, for me, like I agree with you. All these lows are weak. But whenever you see something like wide like this, guys, like especially again, we all view it slightly differently. But for me, this only works out one of two ways, and that's either again, all of these lows are likely to get taken. So it's either like you get this last little bit of like liquidity here that kind of saves the potential idea of like this being a reaccumulation for those of you guys that know like deeper Wyckoff logic. Right, so it's either like this really kind of just comes down and like just plays into like the imbalance and like that's enough to warrant a reaction, or if it moves into the imbalance and the whole thing gets erased. There is
mhm.
no, for me, there is no like 50% logic here. Like if you think something magically happens in the middle of this, just because it's the 50% of it, um, I would ask you for data on that over 200, 300, 400, 500 trades, because I think you would be wrong in saying that that is a probability that plays out in your favor more times than not. I would say again, it either just dips into it again, which is enough of a fill, again because you're wiping all of this price action, or you're going to wipe the entire imbalance. There's just no in between.
Right.
You might get
And
a
even the
reaction off that
low,
50. Like don't mistake again. Like maybe you measure this and like yeah, maybe you get a reaction off the 50, but that's different than like it being a sustainable bounce. That brings further demand to like clear a high. They're two vastly different things.
right?
Um,
I agree. And even analyzing the low that led to the imbalance, it's not a lot of power in those candles down.
this, yeah, no,
Right.
this is nothing
So,
like this. Like again, too, like I wouldn't expect a bounce off of this. Like
hmm
like this is an example of where you had like a bounce, like it kind of played into this area. But like you can argue again that this move is a lot stronger than this.
right, right.
Um, because I mean, like
Agreed.
from this, I mean, you got the rest of this. So I mean, like obviously it was strong, but again, like you can also clearly kind of see the little bit of a difference. Like this actually grabs some liquidity, as ugly
Hmm
as that may be to some people, that's below the weekly open, which is critical for some others. Whereas this took absolutely nothing and
Right,
just
right.
it was just a mess of nonsense. So yeah, I definitely
hmm
agree with you, bro. There was a few comments. I was trying to give the chat a little second to kind of catch up. Somebody did say this is the first time I heard of a fair value gap to not be valid. I believe all fair value gaps are valid. I would say they're all valid, but they're not all immediately important. Again, Ray's probably going to have his own thought on that, though.
Um, I mean, all of them can. If all of them were valid, then everybody be rich already. That's
Yeah,
all I.
that's a good
So
way to put that.
nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Like there's different nuances in the market that that you have to be aware of, and you only notice them honestly with the number a high level of chart time, and a data to back it up. So for me personally, here I'm not saying that the market can't react off of that area, but if we're trading in terms of probabilities, and if I'm trading with a probabilistic attitude, then I know that trades that have internal range liquidity that form before the break of structure, imbalances that create internal range liquidity before they break structure, have higher chances of being valid. And typically, when that happens, the fair value gap is a lot smaller. I mean, the fair value gap, in my
Yeah, it's
opinion,
not this wide.
it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I mean, how many pips is that, bro? Like 100 pips or
yeah.
something? Like,
This is
so
yeah. This is not a yeah. So
yeah,
200 pip. Yeah, it's
200 pips,
insanity.
right? So where would you take the trade? Most times than not, you're taking a fair value gap, and it's overlaying it's overlaying order block as well. So the fair value gap is an extra confirmation with the order block. So understanding that most order blocks aren't going to be 200 pips large. So with that being said, the fair value gap, you take it in conglomeration with an order block, and then the fair value gap is a lot smaller. So now you can be precise with your entries with about 15, 20 pips. So that's
This
the
is
biggest
like the
difference
type
there.
of fair value gap he's talking about.
Exactly. It's
You see the fair
overlaying a
value
sell
gap
to
that
buy.
comes after the order block, the swipe of liquidity. You have demand that's sustained above it. And if you look at exactly what I mean, Ethereum is slicing through this, which is not the greatest example. But again, this is what he's again, it's an example of a tighter, more logical fair value gap.
You're right.
Um, as compared to again the the 210 pip, you know.
And look, if you can go back to Ethereum, there's actually an example of if you look over to where the market ran bullish, you see that large bullish candle over there before
This
it made. No. Go down. Go down.
oh down.
Like after,
It,
right there, right. So in my opinion, that would probably be an example, right, where before, like as it happened, you're probably looking at that as a potential imbalance, right, and it gets ran because it's just too big. Like in my opinion, it's just too large. Now that's just an example I seen right away. I could probably go and find better examples, but that's just one I see right away
yeah.
where
And again, look,
obviously.
you're getting reactions off of it. You know,
Mhm.
like there are moves that are being made, but again, like none of these are sustainable, which is like the key thing.
Right.
Remember, sometimes you will. But a thing, something that a lot of people don't realize too is like this is like your strategy is going to flash a lot of entries, but not every entry is like managed to like the full to be like a full breadwinner, right? So it's like yeah, you might flash like entries, but shortly after that, you may get like additional confirmations for why it may not work, right? Like you should have management confirmations, things you want to see after you enter the market that continuously happen to continuously build up your faith in your position. And again, in a lot of those scenarios, you don't really have that. Tyree says, "Shout out the Forex Justice League. Shout out to you, my guy. It's good to see you on here, bro." Um, Let me see. Let me see. Skag, since you mentioned probability over a certain number of trades, how many trades do you think warrants a big enough sample size to base a strategy off of? That's actually a really fantastic question. So first off, shout out to you for even um, asking a question like that. Now, if we're going purely off of number of trades, I feel like the industry answer you'll get is probably 100. 100 solid trades is pretty good. Um, Personally, for me, I feel like you don't want just a certain. So, like, I would say a minimum of 100 trades. But I would also ask is like, what's the time frame that those 100 trades are taken over? Because if you took 100 trades and it was over the course of a month, that's not a long enough time. So like, don't force 100 trades. Like it should be 100 trades minimal over a period of at least 6 months. So you need both of those things. So if over a period of 6 months you have 180 trades, perfect. If after 9 months that's when you hit 100 trades, perfect. But you need both of them. So at least at least 100 trades and at least over a period of 6 months. And I'll tell you why. Is because market conditions are not always the same. And you might have 1 month where your strategy is banging and another month where your strategy is not. And more oftentimes that's the reality, right? There are times where I'm really hot, like the market. Like you can't argue with me about the markets because I don't care because I'm like 9-0 over the past 2 weeks. There's also times where the market's smacking me, and like maybe I'm not 9-0, maybe I'm like 3-8. Maybe I'm like barely break even or just under profitable, or like. So you need also some sort of time aspect to make sure that your strategy works not only in current market conditions but various market conditions. So I'll say it's a double-sided coin. It's not just about how many trades you have, but also over a period of different market conditions. And if you can get enough data on both of those and a solid strategy and the discipline to follow it, you can become unstoppable in the markets. Again, easier said than done. We all struggle with it. Again, like I said, I have months where I'm banging, I have months where I'm off. And those months where you're off, you just got to learn to tighten up your risk, manage your money smart, take less opportunities until you get back in tune, and again, just continue. So, yeah, hopefully that's a good enough answer for you. That's probably about one of the better answers I can give you on that. Someone said worst trade you ever took. Oh boy, you'd have to give me a little bit to think about that. I like that Justice League. Shout out to you guys. 1,000 is the answer. I mean, 1,000 is great, but again, you gotta ask yourself, how long is it gonna take you to get 1,000 trades? You might be sitting there for a year and a half, 2 years, and for most people, that's too long. But yeah, obviously, the more you have, the better. But I would say at least a minimum of 100 over the period of at least 6 months. So, yeah, that's my answer on that. Family, any other questions? I'll give you guys another minute or two to kind of bring those in. Um, I'm not really looking at anything else. As you guys do know, we will be live trading with you guys Tuesday through Thursday right here on YouTube. So there's no reason for you guys to go anywhere. Just hit that sub button, hit the like on the video here. And as always, we'll see you guys Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But let me just keep up with chats and see what you guys have for us. What's the entry for GU? Ray's, let me see. Do I still have the chart open? Or Ray, if you have the number, I think it was 119.18. Yeah. So 1.1918 was the
Yes, sir. 1.1918, and the
the
stop
number on
loss.
his. So a
I
little
would
less than
put
what I had drawn, but
stop loss. You could do 1936, 1.1936.
all right. So you guys heard that 119.18 with a 1936 stops. What are you running, like 18 pip stop loss too? Say
Yeah,
that.
just
I'm in that
yep.
lead. If I'm up, pending the time the market wants to play around.
Yeah, we'll see. We got to get the retracement, so that's hopefully if we get the retracement, definitely. But if not, I'll probably just be sleeping in. So
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, it's also a holiday week, so we'll have to see what we get. You never know. With that being said, too, happy Thanksgiving early to everybody. If people are traveling, if you guys are not going to be in the live streams with us, then obviously, hope you guys enjoy. For those of you that celebrate, for those of you that don't, enjoy your Thursday anyway. Kyle, anything from you before we go, bro? Nothing. Kyle might have already checked out on us. That's okay though. Ray, any final thoughts, my guy?
no, I'm good, man. Just respect your journey, respect your process. Don't forget to have fun, man. Fall asleep studying tonight. And put yourself in a position that your future self is gonna thank you for. Put your 10,000 hours in. Fall asleep in your office if you have to, because you're gonna look back on these days when you're making the money you really want to make, and you're gonna be thankful that you did it now and not later. So respect your process. Have fun, guys.
That's a fact. So, guys, with that being said, we are going to shut the stream down. We appreciate you guys hopping on with us. We will see you guys Tuesday morning at 8:30 this in the morning, and we will see you for that live trading. With that being said, this is Skag with the Profit Society, and we will see you guys then. Enjoy your night, family.